Tough question, the definition of creativity. I would say it's making something seen that hadn't been seen before. The first brushstroke on a painting, first line in a novel. In our business, maybe a headline appears, maybe a piece of dialogue appears. Think about musicians who will say, it just came out of the air, but it's something that hadn't been thought of before. That's what I think of as creativity. Well, I grew up on the west side of Chicago. It was more of a blue-collar area, middle class. Being Italian was a big part of our life growing up. My mom was a housewife, the classic housewife in the 50s. My dad and my uncle had a couple small restaurants, one counter and a couple tables, and they served their famous cheesy beef sandwich. So I worked there many summers, flipped a lot of hamburgers, made milkshakes, and washed a lot of dishes over the years. And I think growing up like that and working with my dad and my uncle gave me a strong work ethic, which I think helped me during my career. And part of it was too, I would say to my dad, I don't want to work this hard. I don't want to work 6 days a week, 12 hours a day like you do. And I think, that made me think about other avenues. And well, with my dad too, we do on Sundays, we'd go stand in line to buy standing room only seats at Chicago Stadium. Go back home for breakfast and go to the Bears game. Come home, after the Bears game, have dinner or what have you, then go to the Blackhawks game. It's some of my greatest memories. It's kind of funny. I remember just watching television during that time and just thinking, seeing the commercials, I kind of like the commercials better than the shows, and I thought, maybe I can do that.
Hey, how about a nice Hawaiian punch?
Sure.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
Cut.
Cut. Cut.
Later on, of course, in high school and what have you, I thought, well, I'd like to be a writer, some kind of writer. And then I got into the business. I thought, well, I got married young and thought, well, I have to actually make money, So I happened to get a break through a relative to work at a small agency in Chicago called Stern, Walters & Simmons, long defunct. Got a job as a junior copywriter, and I truly had no idea what I was doing. But I was there about 6 months or so, maybe a little longer, and they lost their biggest client. So it was like last in, first out. It was a traumatic time. I had to go home and tell my new wife that I didn't have a job anymore. So I managed somehow to get an interview at Leo Burnett, John Hughes. Now John, of course, became, the famous film director, Home Alone, Pretty in Pink, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. He had a run of big hits in the 80s. So John's looking at my book and he said, I have some good ideas here. I like your work. He said, I think you'd fit in with our group. And got to work with John, which was crazy. Stayed there about a year, and I remember I was presenting some work to a guy named Hal Weinstein, who was like our group creative director. And he said to me, Bob, you don't know anything about advertising. In fact, I don't think you'll ever know anything about advertising. So I'm like, this is this big time guy at Burnett and, in the industry. So I figured he's right, So I go home and tell Janice, I think maybe I should go to plumbing school or something. This big time guy told me I'll never make it. And so then I went to Needham, Harper & Steers. I got a call from a woman I worked with, Susan Gillette. Worked there was at the agency for 35 years. And I like to tease that I worked at 4 agencies without leaving my office because Needham, Harper & Steers became DDB Worldwide, became DDB Needham, became DDB. I think the people who influenced me, well, first of all, I'd say Susan Gillette. Susan a brilliant writer, brilliant thinker, I would say, and a great creative leader. She worked at Stern, Walters and Simmons, so I worked with her there. And, she kind of took an interest in me, gave me, the opportunity to work on some good assignments, lots of McDonald's and AB and General Mills and Kraft and all those things. Larry Poster was also a mentor. Also, I'd say Keith Reinhardt, who, is my business hero. Keith, in so many ways, is such an inspiring person. The work he'd done, just the kind of person he is.
Beginning in the 1950s, we had the creative revolution inspired and led by Bill Bernbach, who broke all the rules that had been established by the early high priests of advertising. During this period, we learned to respect the intelligence of the consumer, how to engage people with humor, irony, wit, emotion. And we learned the importance of craft and the power of a well-told story.
I never thought I would get to the level I got to, just never thought about it. But I don't know if it's naive or arrogant. I think I'm more naive. I just thought I'd be successful. But I had a lot of people who supported me, who believed in me, promoted me probably before I was ready. I remember when I was given the job as creative director of the agency, Keith had said to me, well, what are your goals? What do you hope to accomplish? So I said, first of all, I want to get us to the point where we're recognized as doing the best work in Chicago. Then I want to get us to the point where we're doing the best work in some of the best work in the U.S. and then, of course, some of the best work in the world. I wanted to get our agency up to that level. And then we started doing some better work. Started getting more recognition for our work. Started winning more awards, and kind of the spotlight was turning on us. And eventually, we had a great team. That's what I really tried to do: put together a great team, create a culture that fostered great work and encouraged great work. And I always used to say, I want to hire people who do great work but are great people. That was really important to me. And part of it was we got great opportunities from Anheuser-Busch, particularly McDonald's.
Remember when someone stole your fries, but we never found out who?
Never found out.
It was him.
Did somebody say McDonald's?
Frito-Lay.
His supporters are everywhere.
Let Pretzel Boy play.
Let the pretzel boy play!
But the dream ended today.
We find these roll gold pretzels unfairly elevated this game. The pretzel boy shall not play.
State Farm.
Who are you talking to?
It's Jake from State Farm. Sounds like a really good deal.
Jake from State Farm at 3 in the morning. Who is this?
It's Jake from State Farm.
What are you wearing, Jake from State Farm?
Khakis.
One of the biggest successes we had at that time was on Bud Light. I think, if I remember correctly, we started on Bud Light in 1982. We were assigned the brand, and by 1990, it was the best-selling beer in the world. Now, obviously, we had a small part to do with that, but we got a lot of credit from our client, and also we started getting recognition not for the work, but also for the cultural impact it was having. One of the things I was proud of on Budweiser is that how we sort of changed the perception of the Clydesdales. I went to August Busch, third and fourth, and said, we have this great symbol of your brand. We can do much more with them. So I showed him some spots. One that became well-known was the Clydesdales playing football.
They always do that? Nah, they usually go for 2.
And that's what I was trying to do at that time with Bud Light, and then later with Budweiser. because I wanted people talking about our clients' brands, the ideas for Budweiser and the Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. Way Too Much Cologne Wearer.
Mr. Way Too Much Cologne Wearer.
Became the most awarded radio campaign in history. When we did Spuds MacKenzie, became Grand Marshal of the Mardi Gras Parade.
Spuds MacKenzie. Spuds MacKenzie. A real hot night and a cold Bud Light puts a man in a party frenzy.
Then later, you know, we kind of repeated that sort of success with Was Up, which became part of the popular culture.
Yo, pick up the phone. Hello? What's that? What's up?
So what's up, B?
Watching the game, having a bud.
True.
I wanted to create what I call talk value. You know, Bill Bernbeck said word of mouth is the best medium of all.
You are probably aware by now that the latest catchphrase sweeping the nation is the exclamation, "What's up?" Or said more colloquially, "What's up?"
Now I can't wait to get home and watch TV just for that commercial.
And have a bud.
We gave him a camera crew today. Where'd you guys go over to Pickwick Bowling right around the corner?
What's that? What's that?
What's that?
What's that?
Hello, Mike.
Yes.
Yeah, Regis Philbin here, calling from New York. How are you?
What's that?
All that sort of got me recognized by Keith and by others in management that maybe I had the leadership qualities, I had the standard of the work that we needed for the network. A guy named Ken Case became the CEO of the global company. Ken asked me to be his partner, so I became Chief Creative Officer of the agency, and then unfortunately Ken passed away, and John Wren, the CEO of Omnicom, the holding company, had faith in me and said, you know, we're going to make you the Chief Creative Officer of the network. I think our culture really revolved around treating people with respect, recognizing their accomplishments and rewarding them. I think the other thing was the feeling of we're all in this together. Oh yeah, we did Was Up, you know, so that pride in what we were doing. I think that was very important. And the other thing I would say is I tried to make the place be fun, you know.
What's that?
That's a swear jar. Every time someone swears, you put a quarter in it.
Who gets the money?
I don't know. We'll use it to buy something for the office, like a case of Bud Light or something.
Fucking awesome. You, Bob.
F you, Jim.
Poop.
Doesn't count.
Shut the up!
I am so proud of you mother suckers. Here.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
He won Agency of the Year in multiple offices, multiple times. When you get to a point where you have, 12,000 people and, 90 offices, it gets tough. I also did a series of just notes to the agency. I called them Here's a Thought. And it was just what I was thinking about. I just tried to inspire our offices around the world. I tried to make them feel they were part of something bigger. You know, they were at Bill Bernbeck's agency, and that was a huge motivator. One of the things I always try to do is help our people play over their head, you know, be better than maybe they thought they could be. I always believed, and I tried to foster the idea that everyone in the agency is a creative person, right? I want you to be creative at what you do. And that's how we tried to run the agency and give them, the credit they deserved. Well, I'm teaching now part-time at Northwestern University. I teach a class on creativity. It's really an outlier in the program. The program is integrated marketing communications. So we're the only class that comes anywhere near to creativity. Our business really needs to attract talented young people. And I don't know that that's as easy as it might have been in the past. I think, many of the talented young people don't even know about advertising. They don't know it's an outlet for their creativity. Our business is at a place where you can do anything, right, from a creative standpoint. I met my wife, Janice, in grammar school. I give her credit for raising the boys. You know, I was on a shoot for a week or 2 weeks. Or later on in my career, I was spending a week in Sweden or what have you. And I think also the thing that she did was bring me down to earth. Because, you know, sometimes you can get kind of a big head when you're in a position like that. I'd say, wow, I was named Chief Creative Officer of the agency. Great, I'm so proud of you. Now, you know, we have a soccer game at 2 o'clock, so that kind of thing. I think she's extremely supportive. We have 2 sons, Ryan and Rob. Rob has 3 children. We all live close to each other, so we see each other a lot. We have the kids a lot, and it's just, family means so much to us. That's how I grew up. Family was extremely important. If I had to dedicate my career to someone, I dedicated it at the beginning maybe to proving something. You know, when a big-time creative director, Leo Burnett, told me I'd never know anything about advertising, I dedicated myself to proving that wrong. You know, I always kept that chip on my shoulder. So today I think I dedicate it to him.